not really. I just want you to feel sorry about it. True. There are goodies, so if you want to get some of them, there are a lot of goodies in fact. Homemade goodies, etc. Well, you probably need to know introduction, but I will add, because this is retired Bishop Roy Riley, Roy Riley to be precise, and he really is a dear, I won't say old, but a dear, old friend. Who was Bishop of the New Jersey Synod for 22 years. He was practically a baby when he started. He really did. He had a baby face at that time. And I was very privileged to serve with Roy for 16 years of my ministry. So he taught me a lot, and really was a wonderful churchman throughout, not just the ELCA, but the world. And we're grateful for his retirement. And and his willingness to come out of that for a little bit so he could be with us today. Before Roy became bishop, he was an assistant to Bishop Erlof Jensen, and his specific responsibilities were stewardship. So he's been doing this for a long, long time, really helping the church understand who we are as stewards and the importance of our giving all of who we are for the sake of the world. So that's the title of his presentation, For the Sake of the World, and for our sake and God's sake. Thank you. All right. Welcome.
It's good to be here, right? We had 5 inches of snow. Our neck was mid-Jersey, so it was a little slow getting up here this morning, but it was good to hear on New York radio. We didn't get as much snow up here, so it was much quicker as I got closer to the area. That event is not going to be the issue. The issue is going to be cold. Yeah. And we all have, Glad and I were kind of trading New England stories since she spent some time there, and I had a daughter runs with me. And so when they finish this weekend, they'll have 6 feet of snow. So I don't. It's good to be here. Good to be with you. Thanks for being here on President's Weekend and so forth. This is really sort of my fault in a way being here in February, because we originally going to do this in March, and then I got an assignment to go out to Iowa in March. Never been to Iowa. Certainly never been there in March. We'll see how that. Anyway, it's good to be here. Good to be with you. So. Bill Walker walked in this morning and said, "How's retirement?" Because he retired on the same day, September 2013, September 1. And I said, "It couldn't be better. It's just fabulous." I got some really good advice from someone who had actually taken early retirement from J.P. Morgan Chase in New York, who also just happened to be married to one of my colleague bishops, Margaret Lane, who was here for some years. And John sent me this long email in the spring of 2013, the theme of which was, "Don't say yes to anything for a year." The email was so good. It was really, I printed it out, I put it in a frame. I'm serious. I mean, it was for a year and sat there so that I would be reminded to do that. So Glad is right. I basically said, and he said, you just have to disengage from what you're doing. But one of the things that did was enable me to kind of move to the side and become an observer of the church. To sit in the pew instead of standing in the pulpit and to see what's going on. Do you know there are people out there texting during your sermon? Or actually, I thought that was the case, and then bless her heart, I kind of leaned over to see what Carolyn was doing in the front row on Saturday night. She had the Bible text that were being read. She's getting it right off the phone. She's looking at it. Restore my faith. So I said I was going to do that. About toward the end of the summer, Becky Resch is our second pastor, vice president to Ewing, called me and she said, going on maternity leave in November. Great. She said, I'm wondering if you would be willing to teach a confirmation class, our confirmation class in November. And all I want you to do, nothing you can't do, because she's up right there. She said, just talk with them about the wider church, about their connection as they become adult members of this church, to the church and the Senate, and the national church, the global church. That's all you have to do. That sounded pretty easy to me, and I said, okay, that's beyond September 1, so my year's up. Okay, I'll do that. By the time I put down the phone, I realized she said confirmation. That's junior high kids. Oh. And I have a grandson who's in that class. I actually have a grandson old enough to be in junior high, he'll be 13 in 3 weeks. And now I'm thinking, oh my, you're the person, speaking of myself, who always had such great awe and respect for junior high teachers. I mean, how do you have the patience to deal with the kids in this part of life, you know, where they're where they're dealing with all this stuff, and of course the girls are ahead of the guys, you know, there. I mean, it's just kind of, it's really a challenge. And I remember how I was in junior high.
This is Bill McCracken's grandson, too, so never.
Okay, I'll do this. But then I'm thinking, how am I going to do this with young people who are so engaged with social media and all this kind of stuff? And I am, as I was one of the last remaining dinosaurs on the earth doing this stuff. I had to have all this connected for me. I can't remember this morning. So I decided, okay, I need to engage them because I know they generally don't talk. They don't say a lot. They're quiet. So I, just to sort of jump ahead a little bit, so I go in this room, there are 14. They're all there, the entire class is there. I couldn't get them to stop talking. They were just so hyped up. The weekend before, they had been among the Wolves, the Senate Junior High Youth. They went as a total group, totally bonded, came back. They're just all fired up and so forth. Now I'm thinking, I'm in a totally different place from where I thought I would be. I'm trying to get a word in edgewise, and they've got all kinds of things. So I started to ask them things about what they know about the Lutheran Church and so forth. I'll get back to this in a second. And I've got my computer hooked up, which I had to come in 3 days ahead to find out how to get Wi-Fi in the building and how to do this. Got all that hooked up. So I said, okay, let's do some Lutheran alphabet. Let's see what you know, okay? So let's go with LWR, LIRS, LSA, LM, LSM, NJ. Let's do LW. Yeah. All right, I'm going to get you in small groups and you figure it out. Let me know what you think those letters stand for. That didn't go so. So, but this group would know all of these, right?
No doubt.
No doubt. So, LWR is
Relief.
right? LIRS
Lutheran
is
Integration.
refugee service.
You can't say that. I don't either. All right.
LSA, that's the newest of these, Lutheran Services of America. Lutheran Services. It's the umbrella for all the agencies like this, which is LSMNJ, Social Ministries of Jersey, and LWF,
Lutheran World Relief. Oh, Lutheran World Foundation, Federation.
And here's what's really cool. And honestly, I have to say, I haven't done this for Lutheran confirmation years. But if you go online, if you Google just LWR, then the website will come up, click on the website comes up, and there are videos and there are stories, and the whole picture of that is there. Every single one of this Varsity alphabet soup is all there. There was, in fact, one on Lutheran World Relief. They did a story. The whole thing was on helping farmers in Honduras, in the mountains of Honduras, to give them some new kind of potatoes. And I'm not a farmer, so I don't know exactly how this works. But to enable them to grow potatoes in that soil, and then to be able to feed their own families and sell the potatoes and so forth. And they're doing this. The son of our other pastor, Ethan Wagner, Dan's son, just did a semester abroad, Chile, yeah. But on his way back, visits Honduras and so forth. I mean, while you're there, you might as well see what else is in the countryside. I said, he was just here. He just connected with these Lutheran folk who are helping the farmers there to try to get them out of poverty, feed their families. It's amazing, you know, just putting up all these stories. They actually tolerate all of it. Their session's coming to an end, and I'm beginning to think to myself, well, this is great stuff. I said, I love being part of this church, part of all of these connections. And I'm thinking in my mind, how are they going to keep all this going? How in the world is all of this going to hang together for another 50 years? LIRS is 75 years, LWR 75 years. We've got all this stuff developed right after World War II, when, in all honesty, the church was out helping its own brothers and sisters, the Lutherans in Germany and places in Europe that were displaced. And that's how World Relief and Lutheran immigration services all came into being. And then all of a sudden you realize, we got skills, we know how to do this, and then it expands to the whole world, which is what we're on. Who's going to keep that going? Even now, in this church, and not St. John's, but in the Evangelical Lutheran Church America, we struggle to continue to provide the kind of underpinning of all of these global teachers that have done so much to make a difference in the world. It includes the poverty, people who are fleeing civil wars in their country, I mean, all of this. How will you guys keep this going? Or is there just a totally different chapter of how the church would serve human families? So that's kind of the backdrop for what I wanted to talk about today. Sort of starting with the big macro picture first. I want to, because the kind of question was how Becky Resch asked me this to help them understand how they were connected to all this. That's sort of the theme of that. How are we connected? And I want to share with you a pretty brief video that Margaret Hayman Churchline did. And we have these about every year to talk about the things we do together that are themselves to share, that all of us do, living our hobbies and sharing our congregation. I'd like for you to take a look at this. And then right after it, we're going to kind of cuddle up into some, you can just kind of pull together groups of 3 or 4 or 5, just like we are. And I'd like for you to share with each other whether there was a particular story that struck you, kind of connected with you, why it did, or any kind of word or statement that might jump out at you and say, well, that's worth for me. Okay? All right, so as I warm this up, it's a great time to get the second cup of coffee. As long as you're in the room, you don't walk around.